Hey, welcome to A Few Minutes with Jesus. Let's talk Holy Week for a minute, and I want to talk about Monday of Holy Week for a moment. You know, we celebrate Palm Sunday when Jesus made his triumphant entry into Jerusalem. And in John 12:12, it says, the next day there was a great multitude that had come in for the feast. Now, that's very important because there was a great multitude that had come to Jerusalem for the feast. What feast was that? It was the feast of the Passover, which was going to take place on Saturday. But they came early so that they could be prepared, that they could make preparations for that meal. Now, what preparations was that? That was going to the temple for a spiritual cleansing. They would go to the temple to make sacrifices so that they would be made spiritually clean and they would be ready for the Passover meal. Now, if you remember, Jesus cleared the temple. He turned over the tables of the money changers. And so I want to look at that real quick. It says, on reaching Jerusalem, Jesus entered the temple courts and began driving out all those who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves, and would not allow anyone to carry merchandise through the temple courts. And he taught them and said, is it not written, my house will be called a house of prayer for all nations, but you have made it a den of robbers? The chief priests and the teachers of law heard this and began looking for a way to kill him, for they feared him. Now, what we need to understand is, why did he turn over the tables? Because the money changers were making a terrible exchange rate. That would be like me giving you $100, you give me $10 back, because they were exchanging from the Roman coin into the temple coin. And you had to have a temple coin to buy and sell things in the temple. And then you had those that were selling the doves in the temple that were used for sacrifices, because people made a long distance trip into Jerusalem, and so they bought their sacrifices there so that they could be sacrificed in the temple. And so they were overcharging for the doves that were being sold there. So basically they were just robbing people blind when they came in, and they were making a profit for all these thousands of people that were coming in for the Passover meal. And so Jesus was saying, you den of robbers, you have made my house a den of thieves. And so Jesus was incensed that instead of his house being a house of prayer, it became a den of robbers, because they were stealing people blind that were coming in to celebrate the Passover meal. So I hope this maybe helps you understand a little bit about the Monday on Holy Week when Jesus cleared the temple, because there were thousands of people there that were making sacrifices, and they were being robbed blind by the people in the temple. And so that's why Jesus was upset. He overturned tables, and he did that because he loves you, and so do I. Be blessed, my friends.